O Canada, our home and native land, the prairie, a beautiful place given to us by God, if we could keep it. The harsh reality of life is the story, and the people who endured tough, formidable hardships that tested all, but only the most fit would survive. There were many from the northern European nations who came for a better life, to fulfill dreams, to build families, towns, and legacies. Names like Dunn, Potter, Mahoney, Conroy, Howes, Johnsgard, Forbes, and Tone represented all that was good and able, not only to tame the land, but to build a great nation. Our saga begins in County Kilkenny, Ireland. The Tone clan had inhabited this land that the Gaelic tribes referred to as Erin since the mid-16th century. Francis Tone, whose ancestors date back to France as early as the 1400s, landed in Dublin around 1650. The British monarchy had control of many holdings in Ireland due to the expansion efforts of King Henry VIII and his heir to the throne, Queen Elizabeth I. The monarchy had ruled by suppressing the economic structure of the Celtic descendancy. Those that had owned land on the Emerald Isle for countless generations were treated as tenants and were forced to pay as leaseholders to the Queen, which caused serious unrest with the local inhabitants. Meanwhile, in the New World, Her Majesty's military was battling the French in the 7 Years' War, which led to the British seizing control of all of Canada by the Treaty of Paris in 1763, the very year that marked the birth of the son of Peter Tone of Kildare. This child would one day become a leading Irish patriot. Theobald Wolfe Tone studied law at Trinity College in Dublin. A Protestant by faith, Wolfe organized a group called the United Irish, an organization dedicated to all Irishmen, rich or poor, regardless of religious persuasion. He was exiled to America because of his struggle against the royal monarchy and his dedication to Irish independence. He soon moved to France, and with a small army of French volunteers, landed on the southern shore of Ireland. They were routed decisively by the British in 1798. Wolfe Tone was just 36 years old. He was quickly placed on trial and made this statement: "I have sacrificed all my views in life. I have courted poverty. I have left a beloved wife unprotected, and children which I adored fatherless. After such sacrifices, in a cause which I have always considered as the cause of justice and freedom, it is no great effort at this day to add the sacrifice of my life." A revolutionary to the end, he remained true to his dream of a free and united Ireland. James and William Tone were tenant farmers in the late 1700s. They each married and had a son whom they named after each other. William, born in 1793, married Catherine Bailey in 1830. They had 6 children while living on the farm near Freshford in County Kilkenny. William was in his mid-50s when the terrible potato famine struck Ireland. The potato was not only a staple food source, but was a large economic commodity. Over 1 million people died because of malnutrition and disease between 1846 and 1852. Many tens of thousands more moved from the island to other lands, mostly to America. William and his family survived. They sailed to Canada and settled in Wellington County, near a place called Arthur, due west of Toronto. The third oldest child, Francis, would have turned 18 that year of 1856. These were prosperous times in Ontario, as land was fertile and readily available. Shipping was in its infancy on the Great Lakes, but growing rapidly. The steamships would play a major role in developing this relatively new nation into a world competitor. The railroad, too, was developing ever-expanding markets, bringing much-needed goods into the interior and on to the west. Toronto, the capital of the province, grew from a population of 30,000 in 1851 to over 5 times that number in just 40 years. During these formative years, Francis Tone grew in stature and prosperity. At the age of 31, he married Margaret Murphy, daughter of Luke and Mary Murphy, in 1869. 11 years later, in February of 1880, they purchased 150 acres of land for $100. The farm was located in West Luther Township. Francis and Margaret soon built a comfortable cabin for the growing family. 5 of the 11 children were to be born in that home. They also planted a beautiful orchard that would provide much-needed fruit. Frances passed away at the early age of 52, just 10 years after moving on the farm. Margaret and the children continued on to manage the estate. She lived into her 70s and passed away in 1920. The Tones were faithful Catholics and endured the rigors of farm life in the late 19th century with much success. The youngest son, Edmund, carried on the tradition and then passed the farm on to his son, Frank, who has kept the land in the Tone family name for well over 100 years. The same courageous and venturous spirit that had been with the Tone clan since they first stepped ashore in Ireland some 300 years hence manifested itself in 4 of Frances and Margaret's offspring as the dawn of the 20th century emerged. "Go west, young man," was the cry to be heard throughout Canada and the States. There was land for the taking, and plenty of it, if you could handle the chore.